What's up, y'all? Prince Kapone again, representing that 2-0 Sickness, Hip Hop Congress, Truth About Tupac movement. And my man Raz Simone just dropped this track last week called Charged Up. And it's a diss track towards another Seattle rapper, Saul. But really, it's bigger than Saul because he's calling out a lot of white MCs and, you know, the local hip hop community insofar as it's white. And you have to remember that Seattle is a very white city where the black population, I think, is only 5% now. It used to be 8%. And over the last 10, 15 years, it's gone down to 5%. So it's actually a city where there is a pretty vibrant hip hop community, but where, a city where black people from, hip hop came from black culture. So it's a city where there's a hip hop scene, but not a lot of black people, which is a contradiction, and a lot of the rappers and the MCs in the scene are kind of antagonistic towards, rappers from the hood that are talking about drug dealing, violence, gang activity or gang life, and, of course, all these realities in the black community. And there's a lot of MCs in the local hip hop community who don't like to hear about that shit in the music. And, if a rapper comes out where he's talking about any of the shit that's really going on in his day-to-day life in the hood, they're going to say, oh, well, that's not hip hop. He's not a real MC. He's on that puppet shit, basically. So it's a real condescending attitude that a lot of Seattle rappers and white MCs have towards, black MCs and rappers from the hood. And so Raz's song really came out and exposed these rappers for being privileged and, for participating in hip hop culture, making money off of it and becoming famous in hip hop without really paying dues or doing anything for the black community from which hip hop as a culture emerged from. And, it's really interesting because it brings up the question of what is the role of a white MC in hip hop culture, in black culture, because, as much as we want to say hip hop is a universal culture now and race is no longer a factor, rap and hip hop came out of the black community. And, it came out of the hood. And white people have participated in it and consumed it and profited off of it, but they're not moving into the hood. They're not living in the hood. They're not experiencing the life that so many black people are forced to deal with on a day-to-day basis just because they're black, right? So, you listen to a lot of these songs coming out from the white MCs, and they're talking about, life is good, it's a party, it's peace and love, everything is cool, we're just kicking it, and all this type of shit. But that's not the reality for people who live in the hood, which is mostly people of color, right? That's not the reality that hip hop came from, right? Because hip hop emerged as a response to oppression, right? And that's why you had rappers coming out talking about fuck the police, fight the power, and, all these political messages that scared the fuck out of America. They weren't always talking about peace and love. Yeah, there's some party shit. There's hip hop. You should have fun, right? That's part of the culture too. But to say that none of that other shit is part of the culture is almost a white supremacist position to take. So, Raz drew some attention to that, and he'd already dropped the album about Macklemore, right? and everything that Macklemore represents in hip hop, you know. And it's really interesting because, like I said, it poses the question of what is the responsibility of a white MC in hip hop. And I'm an MC myself, and I'm white. And it's something that I thought about a lot of times. And I'm not one of these rappers out here that's making any money off of rapping. It's not my job. It's not my profession. It's not my career. It's just a hobby. I like to rap. I like to express my thoughts and my feelings in musical form through hip hop, right? But I'm not making no motherfucking money off of this shit. And you know, if I was making money off of it, then please believe my money would be going into the hood and into the black community, because I believe that Black lives matter. I believe that rap lives matter. And I believe that if we're going to be involved in hip hop culture as guests, because that's essentially what white rappers are. If we're not coming in as colonizers to appropriate the culture, then we're guests. And as guests, we had to respect the culture. And what that means is we had to respect the conditions from which hip hop emerged. We had to respect the struggle of black people in America against white supremacy, and the struggle of black people in the music industry, in the rap industry, against white supremacy. And I think that as white artists, you know, because most of our fan base is probably going to be white people, except for, you know, like Eminem. And, you know, there's probably some white rappers who could bridge that gap. But a lot of us are going to have, you know, big white audiences. And I think that it's important that in our music, we draw attention to white supremacy. We draw attention to the police terrorism, that we draw attention to the systematic oppression that people of color are subjected to in America on a daily basis. We can't just come participate in hip hop culture and be like, yeah, everything's good. Race is, you know, is not part of the equation no more. We're all human. We're all getting along and shit. That's good. We should be getting along. But if we gonna sit there and act like that when just outside the show, the police is out there harassing and terrorizing, arresting, or killing black people, then we're being punks. We're being punks who are exploiting the culture for our own benefit instead of making actual contributions to the culture, to the benefit of the culture, and to the benefit of the community from which the culture emerged. So I just want to commend Raz for drawing attention to this issue, and I want to apologize that you even had to do this as a black man, because I feel like for conscious white MCs like myself and my fellow John Browns in the game, I feel like it's our responsibility to really check these motherfuckers. And, you know, if they're not legit and certified, then we got to take them out the game. You know what I'm saying? So I apologize that we wasn't there, but we're standing here with you, and we're on your side. We don't want to see none of these Uncle Bernie motherfucking MCs out here making in a check or a profit off of the culture or getting any notoriety or fame in the game when they haven't even put in no real work and they haven't contributed nothing or done anything for the hood. You know what I'm saying? I went to Black Lives Matter protest down in Seattle, right? Protesting against police violence against people of color, against black people. I didn't see one of these motherfucking rappers there. Not one of them. Not Grinch, not Macklemore. None of them thought Black lives mattered enough for them to take an hour or two out of their day and go march with the people. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to take them out the game, straight up. We got the John Brown Brigade Project coming out, you know, with Ethos, Kalishnikov, RLS, and yours truly, Prince Kapone. And we're about to come assume the responsibility that we believe comes with being a white MC in hip hop. And we're gonna take these Uncle Bernie motherfuckers out the game. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna take a stand with Black Lives Matter, with the United Hood movement, with the Village, with Raz Simone, and with this whole motherfucking movement against white supremacy. And if you're white and you listen to hip hop, or you rap, or you participate in hip hop culture in any form, and you're not standing against white supremacy, then you have no business in the culture. And if you don't withdraw, then we gonna come take you out the game. That's on my motherfucking word.